Yeah. I am a lion. Roar! Hello, so my name is BananaNeil, and I am a baby lion. Roar. That sounded like a dinosaur. On the interweb, sometimes I read love stories that you awesome people send to me. And so I thought I would do that on this lovely day. So here we go. So my story is not your usual prince and princess story. At least not in the beginning. I met Laura in 8th grade. I thought she was nice, but I was kind of looking for attention from one of her friends. And I was on a painkiller binge at the time. This really wasn't unusual for me. At that time, I was pretty much always high. It's unfortunate, but that's the method I chose to deal with my screwed up childhood. And so while I was trying to get attention from that girl, I met my soulmate. Although neither of us knew it at the time. I wasn't really nice to her at our first meeting. Flash forward to our freshman year in high school. On the drug front, I was definitely doing worse. Over the summer, I'd tried ecstasy, and I was immediately hooked. It made me feel like I had found the way life should be. I went to school messed up, I came home messed up, I slept maybe 5 hours a week. A delightful side of the ecstasy was the insomnia. From using and not sleeping combined, I was insane. Of course, another side effect of the ecstasy was depression. Manic depression also runs in my family. So freshman year I wasn't doing too well, but while the world blurred by in my drug-riddled mind, one thing stuck out. Her, Laura, the girl I mentioned earlier. She always brought a smile to my face. Something not many people saw, except maybe my dealer. I didn't even remember her from 8th grade. That was something she had to point out to me later. And that didn't matter. But what did matter was that I had found a gorgeous girl and I had set my sights on her. Even with the drugs, I was very, very hard-headed and very, very strong-willed. And when I pursued something, I would get it. Pretty quickly, even. And so I spent my time pursuing her. Essentially, every day I did whatever I could to make her laugh, to learn more about her. And eventually we became really, really good friends. There was a problem, though. She had a boyfriend. And apparently with my pursuit of his girlfriend, he wasn't particularly happy with me. Around this time, I'd picked up something called cocaine. And cocaine made me even more hard-headed and made me feel like I had something to prove. Her boyfriend and I decided that we'd settle our issues by fighting. He could see that I was taking over his relationship. I had willingly set up a couple meetings between me and him. I even offered to meet him outside of his own house, which is never a good idea. But he never showed up. Now with our drug-addled friend state, I found myself working on a group project with her in my English class. This would mean that I would have to be around a lot of parents, and I really needed it to help my grade. I slowed down the drug use for a little while, which meant that I was basically just smoking a lot of pot. I could function decently well with just smoking, so I'd come to school as blazed as I possibly could get. One day I was sitting next to a friend of mine and he noticed that I was really high, and so he was kind of joking with me about it. But she overheard, and she didn't talk to me for weeks. And when she finally did, she told me we couldn't be friends unless I stopped using. But she had no idea what that meant. She didn't know about the ecstasy or the cocaine. She didn't know that I needed those in my life every single day. But somehow when she told me that, my life changed. I couldn't let this girl get away from me. And I don't think there's anyone else in the world who could ever have made me go through what I did, other than her. Not my parents or friends, or anyone. I mentioned how strong-willed and hard-headed I was, and so I stopped. The next 2 weeks were absolute hell. I literally asked to die 1,000 times, even though I knew I'd go straight to hell if I did. I went through 14 days of withdrawals. I shiver-shook, scratched, passed out, and screamed. When I could sleep maybe an hour or two at a time, I'd have horrifying nightmares. Things like demons ripping my head off. I dropped something like 25 pounds in those 2 weeks. I just played it off to everyone as a bad flu. After 2 weeks of being sick, I came back to school, and she was really happy to see me. I think she even gave me a hug. The rest of the year turned out to be uneventful, and then it took a turn for the worst. She was moving. Luckily I wasn't too far away, and we still kept in touch. Every day she was gone blurred by. We talked mostly through AIM because we couldn't drive and we didn't have cell phones. But the next year was one of the best of my life. I was drug-free, and Laura was back at school. She even broke up with her boyfriend. And so over the next 6 months, we talked all the time. On Sundays, we'd watch awful movies on TV and laugh for hours. I'd go visit her any chance I could get a ride. I asked her so many times to date me, but she needed time to recover from her ex-boyfriend. But right before spring break of sophomore year, March 3rd, 2008, she said yes. It's now 2011, and 3 months from now, we'll be getting married. She's my perfect match, my soulmate, and in just a few short weeks, I'll be marrying her. Rawr. Congrats, kid. Thank you so much for sending that in. If you guys have any love stories you want me to read in a video, you can send them to banananeil@gmail.com. And I'm gonna be a lion. Rawr. Let me know if you favored or like, and I'll see you guys on Monday, hopefully. Rawr. Okay. Bye.